Activist Radio is on the air. You have tuned into the Mark Harrington Show, sponsored by Created Equal. Mark is training a new generation of leaders to take on the culture of death and win.
You don't like abortion, don't have one.
The only thing that can be said to be objective truth is that there is no objective truth.
It does come out in one piece. It comes out in one piece.
I would argue that we certainly are not all created equal.
And now, here's Mark.
The CEO of the largest abortion chain in America has been terminated. Terminated, or you could say aborted. She's been aborted by the board of directors of Planned Parenthood. You're listening to your radio activist, Mark Harrington, here on the Mark Harrington Show. Go to markharrington.org. But so Leanna Wen, it was a no-win situation for Leanna when it comes to the board of directors at Planned Parenthood. She's out. They threw her out right on the street. Apparently some kind of secret meeting of the board of directors. They threw out Leanna Wen. She's no longer the president of Planned Parenthood. And, this is about 10 months she's been in that position. And they held her up as one of the first medical doctors to run Planned Parenthood. And how that was such a great idea, because supposedly Planned Parenthood's about medicine. They're about health care. They're about reproductive health care for women, comprehensive health care for women. And they wanted a medical doctor to run Planned Parenthood. Man, did they make a whole lot of noise about that. And then 10 months later, she's out of there, gone, aborted, terminated. And so it's an interesting thing here we've got going on. And Leanna Wen went to Twitter after she was aborted and terminated by Planned Parenthood. And she said basically that they had philosophical differences in the direction of Planned Parenthood. Well, we understand what that is, right? Basically, Planned Parenthood's about abortion, child killing. That's who they are. It's not about abortion. It's not about health care. And Leanna Wen wanted to take Planned Parenthood in a direction that they weren't comfortable in because of the current status of politics right now, where Planned Parenthood's on the verge of being defunded. They're losing all across the country in these state houses and so forth. Leanna Wen probably was too good for Planned Parenthood, to be honest with you. She said this is her words, and you wonder sometimes. At least I thought that if she would have got her way, I think Planned Parenthood would probably be in a better position. She said this, quote, "The best way to protect abortion care." Now, just let that sink in. That's an oxymoron. Abortion care? No, doesn't work. But anyway, the best way to protect abortion care is to be clear that it's not a political issue, she said, but a health care one, and that we can expand and support for reproductive rights. So she wanted Planned Parenthood to be about health care, primary health care, fundamental health care, whatever you want to call it, for women, wanted to expand health care for women. And apparently the board of directors wanted it to be about abortion and abortion advocacy. So we're going to talk about that today here on the Mark Harrington Show. My good friend, Troy Newman of Operation Rescue is our guest. Troy, thanks for being on the program.
Mark, I love to do some devil stomping with you on Planned Parenthood. It's about one of the best things I could spend my Thursday morning on. So thanks for having me on, buddy.
Well, you're the guy to talk to because you're one of the ones that are doing some stomping and have been for decades. So what do you take from this Leanna Wen, the no-win situation for Planned Parenthood? She's out of the board of directors. Cecile Richards was in that position for a very long time.
Right.
I tell you what, she was a tough one. I mean, she ran that place, and she's political. She was political.
Oh, highly political.
Yeah. So what do you make of this whole situation of Leanna Wen being out at Planned Parenthood?
Well, look, it's a lot like the Democrat Party right now. They're in complete disarray. If you
Hmm.
hearken back to when we at the Center for Medical Progress released the series of undercover videos that showed the abortionists, these hacks, these ghouls dissecting or talking about dissecting innocent children and selling their body parts, that was the beginning, I think, of the end for Planned Parenthood, because it ruined their brand. And they were under investigation by both the Congress, House, and Senate, and both were referred to the FBI for investigation. So that's what we know. And right after that, Cecile Richards is gone. She was summarily terminated, and not in
Yeah.
such a big way as the way Leanna Wen was. Now,
No.
see, Wen was a transitional president, and she wanted to take the organization to move into the communities for, say, addiction care,
Right.
opioid care, heroin care, what all this other stuff was. In other words, actually think as a doctor, she thought Planned Parenthood was about medicine. I mean,
Well, she
isn't
got
that
that
kind of
wrong.
shocking? She absolutely got it wrong, because Planned Parenthood has never been about medicine or medical care or treatment. It's always been about one thing, and that is the genocide of the American people. And the Planned Parenthood Federation of America is about abortion. It's about killing children. It's about giving out birth control pills, indoctrinating people into disgusting sexual practices, breaking down the
Yep.
family, ruining fatherhood, etc. And so Wen wasn't on board. They got rid of her, and just like the Democrat Party, Planned Parenthood is in complete disarray. And we should celebrate this.
No doubt.
Okay, we don't celebrate when people fall into sin or are destroyed, etc. That's kind of a wrong Christian perspective. But the enemies of God need to be destroyed, and we need to celebrate that. And make no mistake about it, Planned Parenthood is an enemy to the American people, an enemy to the Christian church, and ultimately an enemy of the cross.
Amen. My guest is Troy Newman. He's the director and president of Operation Rescue. Operation Rescue, obviously, years and years ago, civil disobedience movement, blocked doors of abortion mills many years ago. And I've known Troy for some 20 years. And they are on the front lines of shutting down abortion clinics and putting abortionists in jail. So Troy has a lot of experience in dealing with Planned Parenthood. You know, Troy, since the inauguration of Donald Trump as president of the United States, we've had this perfect storm of events, you know, where Trump has put up two nominees to the U.S. Supreme Court that have both been confirmed. We've had these abortion bans, like the one here in Ohio with the heartbeat bill,
Right.
Alabama, other places. And then this push to defund Planned Parenthood just this week, as you know. Planned Parenthood is going to lose $60 million in Title X funding thanks to Donald Trump. So you got this perfect storm of events for the pro-life movement. No wonder Planned Parenthood's freaking out and wanting to do something urgent to save their rear ends, because if they don't do something on the political end of things, meaning winning elections, they're going to lose all of their federal tax money. They're $500 million. I say that it's been, you know, we should have done that a couple of times in the last couple of years, but I think the writing's on the wall and they know it's coming. And that's why they want a political hack in charge. This Alexis McGill Johnson apparently is the interim CEO, and she, from what we can tell, is a political activist. So they got what they want. They got a political person at the head of Planned Parenthood. I'm sure they're going to make it all about abortion, especially in the 2020 election cycle. So, you know, I think you're right. They're in disarray, but every time I count them down, they pop back up. I mean, these people aren't going to go away. They aren't going to go away easily.
No, and they've been around for over 100 years, and they've been receiving tax dollars for almost that same amount of time.
Right.
if it were not for Donald Trump reinstituting the Mexico City policy that we're not giving money to countries to do abortions, now we're also stripping $60 million from Planned Parenthood,
which isn't chump change. And people need to understand that's a lot of money.
Well, you give me $60 million and I'll destroy the abortion industry.
Yeah.
But these guys, now look, they call it the gag rule. The abortion industry calls it the gag rule because they can't talk about abortion. They can't refer for abortion. They can't do abortion. So any organization that gets money from the U.S. government cannot do abortions or refer abortions. Imagine that. How beautiful is that? And that's the Title X funds. And it is about time. Look, Bush 1 promised it to us. Bush 2 promised it to us. Romney promised it. McCain promised it. And then was the no vote to actually defund Planned Parenthood completely and overturn Obamacare. So that he put the nix on that. But look, this guy, this unlikely, brash, non-politician businessman who doesn't take a paycheck, comes onto the scene, formerly pro-choice, kind of analyzes the situation, says not anymore, and becomes the most pro-life president and unlikely hero of the pro-life movement that I've ever seen in my life. And he continues to do the things he said he's going to do, trying to, I've been to the rallies, you've been to the rallies, promises made, promises kept. And I've never seen it. I'm 53 years old. I've never seen a politician. Well, of course, he's not really a politician, but, really accomplish the things that he says he's going to do. And it's quite striking. And I think that's why the left is completely in disarray. They don't understand his playbook and doesn't understand that he doesn't play by the rules, and he's really out to drain the swamp. And make no mistake about it, Planned Parenthood and the abortion cartel is part of the swamp. They're the alligators.
No doubt about it. One thing President Trump knows is he knows his enemies and he knows his friends. And Planned Parenthood's the enemy of Donald Trump, but he knows the pro-life movement's his friend. And, he's a pragmatist, that's for sure. But, hey, listen, we'll take it, right? I mean, we're heading in the right direction with Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And in my view, it's absolutely essential that he be reelected as president of the United States. Well,
we know what's going to happen if he doesn't get reelected. What do we have? We have the new director of Planned Parenthood is a radical socialist that donated to AOC, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez.
Right.
Okay, so we know we're going to get socialism, massive amount of abortion, stripping us of our guns, no borders on our southern border, massive immigration of people who hate us, that want to destroy us, giving more money to Iran and the mullahs over there so they can kill us, the appeasement of North Korea and China so they can strip us of our trade secrets and so forth. Patriotism has become a racist word, where putting the flag out in your yard is now racism. So that's the ultimate choice. And I've never seen such a stark contrast, at least not in my lifetime.
Well, that's why Planned Parenthood fired Leanna Wen. I mean, because they see this next election as, this is do or die for them. So I'm talking to Troy Newman, Operation Rescue, here on the Mark Harrington Show. Go to markharrington.org to find out. Let's talk a little more about Planned Parenthood. They come off as, at least they try to come off as a healthcare group, reproductive healthcare, talk about abortion being healthcare. Well, if anything shows that that's a bald-faced lie, it's the firing of Leanna Wen. It's clear she wanted to take them in a different direction, and they're about abortion, period.
Right.
I mean, just are. And now with these ongoing issues with the center, with the baby part scandal, now they're losing money. Yeah, they're in disarray. But with you, Troy, I mean, you were you're still being sued by Planned Parenthood. Tell us a little bit about that, if you can.
Right. So I'm a founding board member of the Center for Medical Progress. We worked on it for 3 years prior to even releasing it, and so that'd be 7 years now. The anniversary of the first video was July 14th, 2015.
That's right.
So I've been working on this for 7 years. I'll probably be working on it for another 20. Lord willing, he gives me that many years. But we were in court yesterday in San Francisco. Judge Orrick, an Obama-appointed judge, on some motions for summary judgment. And if your listeners don't know, just to refresh them, we're being sued, myself, David Daleiden, and others, being sued for RICO, racketeering, influence, corrupt organization. So it's always interesting the way the left projects. They're the racketeers who are selling baby body parts. They're the corrupt organization. But somehow they're blaming me for being like the mob. There's no predicate act. What they're saying is the fact that we, how do they put it? Essentially, it boils down to the fact that we get saved babies, embarrassed their reputation, would be our extortion. That's what we extorted out of them, is a bad reputation. Now, in a mob situation, a RICO is, I'm going to the local dry cleaners, jacking them up for some money so that I don't break their windows or something. So they're saying a like for like comparison is we're destroying their reputation and extorting saved babies out of them. That's essentially their argument. So the judge, thankfully, wasn't buying a lot of Planned Parenthood's garbage yesterday, but we're on docket to go to about a 6 to 8 week trial sometime in October, starting October 1st. So I'd ask for your prayers on that. But look, we also know that Bob Barr is in charge as the new Attorney General of the United States, and he's in head of the Department of Justice. And the FBI has referrals for all these criminal investigations that have been going on Planned Parenthood, or to Planned Parenthood, or into Planned Parenthood's sale of baby body parts. So we're we're hopeful that we're going to see some real criminal indictments against all of these people, and the crimes would literally be in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of crimes, and all of them have extreme felony potential. So it could be the death knell. So we need to keep praying for the investigators, for the prosecutors, and for this court case. Now, I will say another thing real quick. But we're in front of the Ninth Circuit because San Francisco is in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And
lucky you.
Well, it's been
you.
It's been a disaster, and everybody knows it's the most liberal circuit in America. But last week, we got the Protect Life rule upheld en banc at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And the liberals, the leftists, are screaming, saying they have lost the liberal tendencies of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Well, maybe Donald Trump's criticism of the Ninth Circuit has got them to, get back in line. I hope.
Well,
I don't know.
It's a little bit more than that. Donald Trump, our president, has appointed over 100 judges to the circuits around the country, and one of them is the Ninth Circuit, and it was Trump appointees that upheld the Protect Life rule that never would have been done before.
And the Protect Life rule is the $60 million of Title 10 money, right?
Exactly. The Title 10 money, $60 million bucks that cannot go to organizations that provide or refer abortion. And that's a huge dent. Imagine, name any organization that can do without $60 million. It's a devastating blow to the abortion cartel. And think about this. We give money to Planned Parenthood, the taxpayers do. Planned Parenthood turns around and donates money to people like AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the abortion people, which then vote them in more money every single year. It just on a practical purpose, conservatives, Republicans, pro-life people should defund Planned Parenthood just so they can these other people can stop getting elected.
Well, I know it's a vicious cycle. Here they go and ask for money. They get $500 million. And then they turn around and use that money to go back and get more money. It's just It's a vicious cycle. It's immoral. It's corrupt. For that reason alone, they should be defunded. And hopefully, I've been very impatient about this. I think you as well have been. Right. We've had majorities in the Senate. They give us lip service about defunding Planned Parenthood. When it comes down to it, they never get the votes. They never get the votes. They keep saying, "Oh, we just need more Republican senators, and we'll get this done." No, it's time. It's time to get it done now. And if we have to wait till 2020 get Trump in, so be it. But $500 million from a company that what do they bring in about $1.5 billion? I mean, that is
Right.
a gigantic chunk. And I think that's why Leanna Wen was terminated. Again, my guest here is Operation Rescue's president, Troy Newman. We're talking about Planned Parenthood in turmoil. It's a good day to be a pro-life activist in America when Planned Parenthood's president is stepping down because they can't get their act together. That's a good thing. So we got a long way to go, but things are moving in our direction, definitely, with things in the state houses, with President Trump, our Supreme Court, and all that. We fought a long, long time to get to where we are, but we got a long, long, long way to go. We got about 5 minutes left. Troy, I want to talk about just closing abortion mills. I know how much that's your top. It's one of the things you love talking about because that's what you guys do. Let's talk about the trend in America right now. What's it? What were the numbers back in the 90s? What are they now? How are you guys doing this? How are you shutting these down? I think we just lost Troy Newman. We'll try to get him back. Troy Newman, my guest here on the Mark Harrington Show. Troy, you can go to operationrescue.org. Do we have him back?
Test 1, 2.
Hey, Tess, you there? Or Troy, you there?
Can you hear me? Test 1, 2, 3.
Nope. You're breaking up, my friend. Shoot.
Oh man, get the crux. Well, in 1991, there were 2,100.
Can we just pause it there?
To that number.
Dude. Anyway, we lost Troy, so we'll finish the show here. Folks, if you want to get involved with Created Equal, go to createdequal.org. We got him back. Hey, Troy, you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Did you hear my question asking how you guys closing all these abortion mills? All right, we're just gonna have to.
We were going to jail. Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we were going to jail, and now we decided that we need to start putting these guys in jail. They're the ones that need to wear the orange jumpsuits. They're the ones who are murdering women, murdering children, selling baby body parts, breaking the law, doing abortions without a license, perforating uterus, killing women. And so we turn these people in to the medical boards.
I think we're just going to have to end the interview with Troy here. So, again, you're listening to the Mark Harrington Show. Go to markharrington.org to find out more. Folks, if you want to get involved, we got an event coming up. Presidential debates happening in Detroit on July 30 and 31. That's July 30, 31 in Detroit. We'll be going to the presidential debates up in Detroit those 2 nights. We're going to be there 2 nights. You want to join us? Let us know. Go to createdequal.org and let us know you want to travel up with us. To be clear, we're not partisan. We'll protest anybody who supports abortion, whether they're politicians or not. It's not about that, but it is about the platform. It's about abortion being put out there by the Democrats as being normal and their support for late-term abortion, infanticide, and the tax funding of abortion. So that's why we'll be going to Detroit on July 30, 31. If you want to join us, go to createdequal.org and just email us and let us know you want to be part of the event. We just finished up our day of action here in Columbus, where we had a day and a half. It's really more than a day, but we had a day and a half of training and activism with our young people here in Columbus. We trained them on Tuesday night. An in-house kind of a classroom style training them to learn how to debate abortion in the public square. And then the next day we took them out and did activism. That's what we do at Created Equal. We combine the apologetics and the intellectual firepower of a winsome, logical, strong philosophical case for abortion or against abortion, along with the boots on the ground activism And that's what we do. We believe that young people learn best when they're given some information and then also taken out on the street. And that's what we did here the last couple of days. We were in the overpasses around Columbus. We were on the overpasses with our huge banners showing abortion victim photography. And then we took our Jumbotron down to the State House here in Columbus and displayed that on the public sidewalk in front of the State House. We had a lot of legislators coming by thanking us for what we're doing as we consider the next General Assembly coming up and the next session of our General Assembly. We're hoping to introduce the Life of Conception Act, which would ban abortion entirely, totally from in Ohio law. So that's what we're looking to do, the Life of Conception Act, and that's why we were in part why we were at the State House yesterday. We also took them to the Planned Parenthood here in Columbus. It is the final and remaining abortion center in this city. 7 years ago is when we had, somewhere around 3 or 4 of them. Now we're down to 1. And so that's what we were doing. We'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless America. And remember, America, to bless God.
You've been listening to Mark Harrington, your radio activist. For more information on how to become a witness against the evil plague in America, call Created Equal at 614-269-7808, 614-269-7808, or go online to createdequal.net, createdequal.net. Be sure to tune to The Mark Harrington Show next time for your marching orders in the culture war.